Could you tell me how to get to New Madrid? What, is it my breath? I brushed my teeth. Thanks. Goodbye, Ferne Clyffe State Park. You have treated us well. And hello, everyone. Gabe the Izzard here. I am leaving this magnificent state park. Wonderful bathrooms, great hiking trails, great RV camping spot area. They were a little tight, no water, but it was still great nonetheless. We are heading back into Arkansas today. Going back, not all the way home. Got one more night on the road. This is day number 7. 7? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 7 days of this road trip. Hey, go ahead, tag along. Driving through Mound City, Illinois, and I saw this beauty, the old fire bell. Pedestal commemorates the Mound City Centennial Celebration of 1954. Sealed inside are historical documents and a story of the bell. They're gonna open this in 2054. Can't ring it, but it's here at this memorial for soldiers. Looks like a fireman, and yeah, killed in action, World War 1917 to 1918. I guess that's because this was a bigger city in that time, and then that's the World War II one right there. Got a nice fountain. Mound City is a pretty nice little town. It's got some cool houses and a railroad track that runs through town. Our travels have brought us back through Cairo and the Cairo Tunnel. They actually have a seawall right here that can shut to not allow people into this area. That's pretty interesting. So we went on a skinny lane river bridge again. Tight fit on the bridge again. The old man.
Welcome to Missouri.
Why, thank you. Wonder how many times people get sideswiped going over this bridge. Whew, that's tight. Got some of that levee driving right now. At least it's not on a dirt road. And there's hay bales down there. In case you fly off the road, you can aim for a hay bale, soften your impact. After a little bit of driving, we made it to New Madrid, Missouri. There's the City Hall, built in 1904. And then directly across the street is the Dixie Theater. The next show, coming soon. Don't know what it'll be, but it's coming soon. So the one thing that New Madrid has going for it is the New Madrid fault line, which There was an earthquake in the early 1900s that happened, and sand geysers and water geysers were shooting out of the ground, and the Mississippi River flowed backwards. So this is where that fault is located, not necessarily right in this spot, but about a mile or so to the west. We're gonna head up this little hill here and see the Trail of Tears River overlook. Battle of the Island number 10 was fought around here, or at least that is what this monument is commemorating. There's some cannonballs, but not to fit this cannon, which is actually pointing to the ground with some flags flying. United States of America, Missouri, looks like a French, maybe a British, I don't know. Everybody that was probably in control of this at one point or another. This interesting contraption right here is actually a Bissell's submergible saw. So when they were trying to cut trees out of the channel of the Mississippi River, they had this, which pivoted off of there and would move back and forth and cut down the trees. Nice. Just walking up this levee hill gives you the grand reveal, the Mississippi River, just like that. Sandbar across the way. Even a little island right there. Here's the levee. And this sign says, I am standing on the New Madrid fault line. All right, so the New Madrid earthquake made up of a series of monstrous and lesser shocks which began December 16th, 1811 and continued over a year, centered here. One of the great earthquakes of the world because of the severity and length it caused. Little loss of life in a thinly settled region. Some of the shocks were felt as far as 1,100 miles away. This little pier is a popular hangout for pigeons. It's a really great overlook right here. The Mississippi River is down quite a bit. That's what's revealing all of this, sandy soil there. Typically would be up here, closer to the white rocks. You can see all of that debris was left here from when the river was higher. They have a little museum here. I'm gonna go walk into it and see what I can learn about New Madrid. Not Madrid. Maybe they'll call it Madrid. I always called it Madrid, but there's a Spain, Madrid. Oh, little catawampus there. This was founded in 1783. Very old. It's the Great Quakes. Here's the museum building back in 1991. Here on the outside of the building, it shows the treasures of the Great River Road, which is where the Mississippi starts up in Minnesota. There's the headwater at Itasca State Park. Travels down, which we're here. I was there not too long ago. And behind this bush, it heads down to the Gulf of Mexico. Oh, and this bush is cotton. After a 15-minute video, we enter the museum where it has artifacts from this local area and a brief history of New Madrid. Mound people used to live here, and these are some replica artifacts and some actuals that have been found around here. A long line of quakes and aftershocks. This is a petrified snake that was dug up from the Lilburn Indian Mound about 50 years ago. There's an area where you can build your own building to see if it will withstand a earthquake. Oh boy. This is a 3 on the Richter scale. It didn't make it. Some Civil War memorabilia, cannonballs, weaponry, mortar rounds, and then a hog chain tied on a steamboat. These 2 shelves are all artifacts dug up in and around New Madrid by Jeff Jamito. They have some World War I and II memorabilia, along with this Nazi banner. They have a section of agriculture. On this map, we are located right there. A plethora of pictures of the town, including the flood of 1912. Upstairs, they have a whole section of antiques and scary-looking dolls. No, that's not just a funny face. That is an actual telephone. Mama. The foxy ladies would dress up in these garbs. This is a lady's boot worn from 1917 to 1918. And a children's room. Little girl hiding behind the desk, the chair. This sleeping baby. Sleep. That's the bed. There's the nightgown. And here is a mourning veil. Not a good morning, but a mourning veil. All right, $5 each to get in there, and it was pretty cool. The curator, Jeff, was very friendly and knowledgeable and excited to share his knowledge. So thank you to him. Very old town. Here's the record. County record, 1866. There's the Bank of New Madrid, and possibly a field trip of students. No, empty bus. Here is the Higerson School. It was actually moved here. It was on the outskirts of town, and it was actually in use until 1964, something like that. It was in the film we watched. According to this placard, it was used until 1967. Here's a fence style. This is what they used instead of using a gate, which makes sense, right? This is the original pillars that it rested on from 1940 until 1997. In the back is one of those old school spinning playground toys. It has a second level. I bet that is extremely fun and dangerous, seeing since it has caution tape on it. And right by the school is the New Madrid County Veterans Park, which has a memorial for all these soldiers. And then the boots and rifle right there. If only I could reach it. Just a peek in the Dixie Theater. They got it dressed for Halloween, and it looks like it could be used. There's the old ticket booth with the speaker And a little money slot. Might still be used for something. We ate a hamburger at M&M's Deli, and now we're hitting the Casey's, but before we head out of New Madrid, Casey's a day. Traveling through the farmlands of Missouri, and we've encountered a couple of these dust devils. We actually drove through one, like a dirt tornado. There's a tractor out there too.
Tractor, rocks.
Getting closer to Arkansas. The Missouri state maintenance has ended, and now I'm on a dirt road, and the truck is happy. Just on the outskirts of the community of Vegas on Highway 51. More of the same.
Welcome to Arkansas.
Home. Passing through the town of Corning, and I saw Hard Alley, and I was like, okay, I can stop and look at that. But it has some of my favorites on here. I'm a Looney Tunes person myself. This way to Oz.
Follow the yellow brick road.
That's a door. Right here on the side of this building leads to some storage sheds. There is the visitor center for Old Davidsonville State Park, Arkansas. Number 11 on the state park tour of Arkansas. I'm gonna walk into the visitor store and visitor center and see what they have. Got the tag. Looking at the swag. And the view. Gonna get out here and walk a mile or two. One thing the Arkansas state parks do is have a great visitor center. Here's a old John boat, and then wildlife exhibits with artifacts. It's one thing that the other places didn't have. They didn't have any visitor centers. Implements from household usage. The Davidsonville historic town is right here. And don't think there's much left of it, but we can walk through it. It was a vision that didn't make it. Got the old camper set up with water and electricity at this park. It is nice. Bathhouse right over there, and there's the fire pit, picnic table on a concrete pad, barbecue grill, tent pad if needed, and I am here in the woods. The woods are right there. I'm gonna go hit the head. I will say the one drawback to the state park is cell phone reception. Very minimal. And it's not like, okay, we gotta be streaming and be on our phones. Sometimes you have to make phone calls. Sometimes you have to use GPS. Sometimes you don't know really where you are, where a grocery store would be, where a restaurant would be, other things like that, you know, a general vicinity. So GPS is one thing that you could use. Don't California my America. Anyway, it would be good to have some reception. I had 5 bars of 5G at Ferne Clyffe. I could upload my YouTube video from my camper. Here, I might have to drive to Pocahontas, and that's the closest town. The facilities. All right, these are the cleanest bathrooms that we've had the entire trip. There's the sink, 2 poopers, 1 urinal, a shower stall, very, very clean, with a knob that you can turn the water on and keep the water on instead of just sitting there pushing buttons over and over. And then back around the corner, the handicap with extra room. That one does have the button. I wonder what kind of water you get out of there. Oh, it's getting warm. That's toasty. Very nice water. Very, very nice. It's screaming at me. I guess this is the diverter for either low or high. Same thing, push a button. Whoa. Guess I get a lot of midgets here. Had to push the button to turn it off. And the men's room has a baby changing station. For the smokers that have dogs. Looking at this trail map, I am located right here. And it looks like if I just walk out there, then I should be able to join the trail. There's one that goes like all the way around. That's what I'm gonna do. It's like a 1.7 miles. These people plan on being here for a while. They have jack-o'-lanterns out. I'm on the back side of my camping site, and I don't see any trails that lead off into the woods that would, help me join that trail. But that trail says that it's just right through there. It does kind of look like a path. You know what? I think it is. Boom. Here's the trail. That's awesome. I can walk from my camper to the trail and do the trail. I would do it, but the wife left me here and I don't have my hiking shoes. Since this is a pretty well-maintained path and I don't really need hiking shoes, I'm gonna walk down here and see if I can find this cemetery. Really? I don't have a bag or anything. I'll grab that on my way out or when I do my loop. But there's a cemetery around here. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Billy Goat's Gruff. And a troll that lives under the bridge. I have a tag along. Stuck. And just like that, I found the cemetery. It's just a really short distance, less than 100 yards from where I'm camping. These rocks are headstones. I know because on Petit Jean Mountain, a lot of the people just had rocks placed. You can see the name written right there, like F.B. Scott. This is called the Scott Cemetery. These rocks, and then there's lots of markers around here. And then you have Mary, wife of John Cox, born 1846, died 1893. That's amazing. And then John Cox here, born 1849, died 1895. Usually they have children, they would put them around here. They don't. But here's some for Anna Scott, Belle Scott. I mean, like, these people only lived like 19 years. This one didn't live but 12 days. Fred Scott, 1896 to 1916. That's only like 20 years. And then 1898 to 1925. This is not a very good lifespan. 1940, 1941. Park rangers here. Guess he maintains the trail. It's very dusty. That rock was for Thomas More, 1849 to 1904. 1868 to 1932. She lived a good long life, but the rest of these people, it's tough up here. Here's a burned tree. I don't know if this was from lightning or if it was from just somebody setting this sucker on fire. It looks like they used some dirt and like tumbled it up. Or maybe they pushed it over and burned it. But one crazy thing is there's these concrete stanchions that have poles through them. So it was part of the fence at one point. Same with that. Funny thing is, I don't think I filmed myself getting the passport stamp for the state parks, which I did. They had a stamping station. Stamp station. I'm trying to make my way over to this little pasture or prairie, and I ran across this wild game scat. This is some sort of game trail because you can see where they've gone through here a few times out into the pasture. And I made it to the pasture, prairie, whatever you want to call it. This has been here a while. I am still kind of keeping my eye out for snakes because it's still pretty warm out. Even though it's October 6th. It's like 84 degrees. Sure would have been cool if the wife would have left me a snack. I guess I'll just have to saw off my toe and eat it. Looks like some sort of a little bridge here and a path. I guess the state park maybe had put this here. Squirrels are angry at me. Haven't really encountered a single insect until I got back to my home state. Thanks, Brandon. This trail marks the center of what was once a 57-foot by 3/4-inch wide town street. This is the old Davidsonville Township. all right in here. This is a mock-up structure of what a building that stood here would be. Private residence slash post office. So all along here would be housing units for this town. This little clearing basically is what the town would have been. Now there's nothing but these structures that would identify where a building would be. This represents where the courthouse would have been, the county seat, and it also says that Old Davidsonville State Park, oldest town site in Arkansas. The first post office in Arkansas was established here June 28, 1817. The first courthouse in Arkansas built in 1815. So I've been to the oldest town in Arkansas, Illinois, and Indiana. So I am here at the corner of the town site, and we're going to make our way down the Black River Trail to Trapper Lake and then go around it. So far, this is a very well maintained trail. It has some gravel to kind of firm up the muddy spots or the wet spots. And it's really wide, well maintained. I did see that ranger driving a Ranger out here. Little gander of the river right through there. Kind of getting a little Stand By Me vibes here with all the brush there. Is that Ray Brower in that bush? There's a very dry creek bank. And here I've reached the Phillips Reeves Cemetery. That's Jacob Phillips. He's buried here. And there's only a couple markers right over there. So we've reached the point where we can either go on the Trapper's Lake or head back across this levee and go towards the visitor center. We're gonna opt for the Trapper's Lake Trail. It just goes around the lake here. Still a very well maintained trail, and they even spray paint these little roots that could be tripping hazards. They paint them white, and this has been all along the trail. You can see a couple more right there. I like to see that there's some very old trees. That means they didn't clear cut every single tree when they were establishing this area. But you can look around and see not a lot of old growth. This is about the average tree size right here. What do you think took down this tree? There's a tree right there. Was it an axe? Was it a beaver? You tell me. Right here, I see a little box. Let's open it up and see. There was a pad and a pencil I wrote my name on it and vanished into the woods. Made it to the other side of the lake. It's down a little bit. They could probably use some water. Being through the graves, that kind of looks like a headstone, but I don't think it is. They have a playground for the children, a basketball court for the people that are inclined to play basketball, no net, lots of day use picnic areas. This would be a nice place to come out for one day and do some picnicking and some fishing. They actually have a little dock slash pier right over there. Kind of looks like a face in that tree there. They have a very low volleyball net there, maybe for badminton. And then they have a stump here, which I'm assuming would be for like axe throwing, but I don't know. Standing here at the backside of the visitor center, you can see where the town is right over there. We circled around. I'm gonna try to pick up a trail right over here to take us back to camp the back way. This is the Scott Cemetery Trail that we're gonna hit. From 1880 to 1930, the Scott family operated a ferry crossing the Black River. I wonder how many cars that they actually took across. I'm sure they did take some. That guy was like, I just missed the ferry. And they said, see you on next go around. Of course, I've already shown you the Scott Cemetery. I've walked all the trails. It was a good one. Almost to the end. I'll give you a report. Made it back to camp. Did 2.1 miles all the way around. Not a bad walk. Probably our shortest trek of all of our treks, but it was done. Now I'm gonna go get something to eat. It is 6 o'clock and I am starving. I will see you on the next one. Tomorrow, we're going home. But not before we do something else. Something. Counting them down. This is the 11th State Park. That's a hint. Later. Where are you going, little fella?